Welcome back to the Complete Guide to Horror Movies podcast. I'm Justin, and I'm excited to bring you today my non-spoiler review of Final Destination Bloodlines. We've also published a deep dive review of Bloodlines that spoils everything, so if you want to check that out, head to our channel to look for that one. Although if you haven't seen the movie, I encourage you to not look for spoilers. Honestly, it just ruins the movie. This review will talk about the positives and the negatives of the movie itself, without spoiling any death scenes, character fates, or other spoilery items. Final Destination Bloodlines follows Stephanie, a college student who suffers from a recurring violent nightmare, and what she has to do is try and figure out why she's having this nightmare and how it will affect her family. This is a huge improvement over the previous two installments. The entertainment value and mix of scares and humour is high up there with the first three entries in this installment. The death scenes can be very brutal and simultaneously entertaining. Some great CGI, some bad CGI here and there, but all can be forgiven when this is actually a return to form, especially after a 14-year wait. There's the main lead, of course, with Stephanie. There's also her younger brother Charlie, their uncle Howard, Aunt Brenda, and cousins Eric, Julia, and Bobby. Grandmother Iris also appears, and there is one more character that I won't spoil because the family drama intention is just too good. Each character has their own identity, and the actors playing them do a fantastic job. They really embody the character with a 3D personality so that you're actively rooting for them, even if they might be an asshole in some scenes. The Premonition sequence is just absolutely incredible. Chef's kiss. This is really high up there with, personally for me, in terms of being as iconic as the plane crash or the log truck scene. For me, it's actually better than the roller coaster scene or the NASCAR track. What the fuck was that anyway? And also the bridge. So there's a lot of varied deaths in this one. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but this is one of the most fantastic opening sequences in all of horror cinema. There is one scene that may make you squirm, but it's nowhere near the same, I guess, gore or traumatizing effect like, say, the tanning bed scene from Final Destination 3, so don't worry, there's nothing like that. One of my favourite death scenes and the build up to it of all time is in this movie, and when you see it, you'll be laughing and also horrified at the same time. It is so good. I saw Final Destination Bloodlines in 4DX, meaning that the seats move, there's water effects, there's lighting effects. It's one of those immersive types of movie cinema sessions. I encourage you to actually check it out. It's one of those rare horror movies where 4DX or DBOX or wherever you live actually adds to the movie itself. I find that when I went and saw other horror movies in 4DX, like Scream 6 or Saw X or, God forbid, Rings, it actually took away from the movie. It didn't add anything to it. It seemed like a cheap gimmick at the time. Final Destination is the perfect franchise to have this type of 4DX environment. So if you're not pregnant, you don't have anxiety, you aren't prone to motion sickness, definitely check this out. There are strong connections to the previous franchise, the obvious one being Tony Todd, as you may have seen from the trailers, but there are some surprises, which I encourage you to keep your eyes out for, because there is one blink and you'll miss it type of cameo from a previous scene in a previous Final Destination movie. There are also numerous Easter eggs, so keep an eye out for those too. I gave this movie a 7 out of 10, my co-host BP also gave it 7 out of 10, and our co-host Coop also gave it 8 out of 10. That doesn't mean the scores are necessarily low. I mean, the only time I've ever given a 10 out of 10 is for the substance, and other horror movies which have come out and are more popular tend to be around 7 to 8 out of 10 for us, so this is on track with, really, really good horror movies. So I encourage you to check it out. Personally, I think because of all the advanced screenings and all the success of those, there will no doubt be a sequel. However, as we saw with Final Destination 5, even though that took a lot of money at the box office, it did result in a 14-year wait between installments, because for some reason the producers thought, hey, it didn't make as much money as the fourth one, people aren't interested. I think Bloodlines is actually going to be the highest grossing Final Destination movie of all time, so I can't wait to see how it tracks at the box office, and I can't wait to see all the sequels in future. So should you go see this? Absolutely. This is one of those rare horror movie sequels that actually does a really fantastic job and offers something new and inventive to the franchise. Now, we have also covered the first 5 installments in the franchise. If you'd like to take a deep dive into those movies, we've also done interviews with Yenke Crystal Lowe, aka Ashlyn from Final Destination 3, and I also spoke to author Padraic Maroney, the author of Escaping Death, which takes a really interesting behind-the-scenes look at the previous Final Destination films, including tidbits on the original Bloodlines script, back when it was focused on first responders and EMT. It's a really fascinating look. So make sure you check that out. And also let me know in the comments when you've seen this movie what your thoughts were. We've also counted down the top 10 Final Destination death scenes, so make sure you check that out as well. Thanks for watching. Take care.